Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Pham, and welcome to the Curiosity-Based channel. Today, I'm going to share with you how constraints can actually make you a more creative problem solver. Now, before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Also, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find the links in the description below. So now, let's dive in. I learned so much about how constraints can lead to creativity when I ran my family's Vietnamese language newspaper in the wake of the 2008 recession and the global decline of the print newspaper industry. Talk about constraints, and yet talk about learning how to be a creative problem solver. So here are 6 tips that can help you reframe constraints so that you can get to creativity. The first tip is just acceptance. It's accepting the constraints, the limitations that you have. And once you're able to accept that this isn't what you want, this isn't what you're used to, then you can move on and be creative. The second tip is to focus on what you have, not on what you don't have. My favorite story around this is with the Impressionist painters. One day they're painting together and they realize, oh, we don't have black paint. And so they started using the color violet as their darkest color. And so when you look at Impressionist paintings, you see they're so light. And that's because they don't actually use the color black. And that was because of an accident, because they didn't have the color black one day. Tip number 3 is to focus on what you can try, what you can experiment with, because you have these constraints. So in my workshops, I really like them to be interactive. We do a lot of breakout groups and breakout discussions. And now we have some clients who say, oh, our team does not want to talk to one another. They don't want to have breakout sessions. And so to still have a level of interactivity, one of the things that we started doing was to experiment with polling. And so now we've actually added a lot more polling to our workshops, and we've actually improved the polling that we have for the workshops where we do have a lot of breakout groups. So having a constraint in one area has actually made us better in other areas. Number 4 is to get clear on what you actually need to get the job done. I am used to having a projector and having a screen, and there are some circumstances, some situations like when I am facilitating outside where I'm just not going to have that projector. And so I had to think, do I actually need to have a projector and a screen? No, I don't. So what we started doing instead was having these follow-along packets that people could consult instead of having the instructions on a screen. Number 5 is about trading for products and services that you need. So when I was running the newspaper, a lot of our advertisers were really strapped for cash. They wanted to advertise, and yet they didn't have cash to pay their bills or to do the advertising they wanted to do. And we also wanted services. And so what we ended up doing was bartering, was trading. So we would trade for restaurant gift cards, for haircuts, and that was a way for legal services. And that was a way for us to both get our needs met. And number 6 is to ask for help. Now, don't let the constraints say that you can't do something, because actually there are probably people who want to help you. You just need to be able to ask. I used to lead this volunteer group where they would have to create something based on no resources. And one of them, they were organizing an event, and they were just, well, we want to have a space and we want to have food. And so they actually started asking people, and they got donations for a space, donation for food. And they wouldn't have been able to be able to do the event in the way that they wanted if they hadn't asked for help. And that made them so much more of these creative problem solvers. They didn't let their constraints confine them. So I hope that these 6 tips helped you reframe constraints as a way to get you to be a more creative problem solver. Which tip resonated with you? Please put your answer in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to click like. If you're new to this channel, please do subscribe. And also turn on the notification bells so you can get alerts to when we produce new content. Once again, my name is Julie Pham, and this has been the Curiosity-Based channel.